Welcome to this episode of Hear It From a Huskie. I'm Dr. Laurie Fiorenza, and I am joined by Adam Levin, our spoken word instructor, and two amazing Oak Park and River Forest students, Ashley Brown and Anabel Govea. Adam, Oak Park has a long-standing tradition of offering spoken word to students. Can you tell me a little bit about the spoken word opportunity?
So in 1998, Peter Kahn, who was an English teacher here at the time, found that his students weren't really connecting with a lot of the material that was traditionally taught in English classes from the traditional literary canon, and that his students were actually connecting more with the spoken word poets who he was bringing in to perform for them and teach them poetry. And so that inspired him to start an after-school club that was pretty successful. And then he got really into teaching poetry and wound up going overseas and working with a collective of poets called Malika's Kitchen, helping to start the London Youth Poetry Slam, and eventually came back to Oak Park because the head of the English department at the time agreed to fund and create a position like the one that I have now, the spoken word instruction position here at Oak Park, where this would be the full-time job that he would have. He would be pushing into freshman and sophomore classes. I think at the time he was also pushing into junior classes as well. And he would also run the program after school too. And the foundation that he laid was so solid from a craft standpoint and from a pedagogical standpoint that it has been going strong ever since then. I was a part of the program from 2003, which was the first year I was in high school, and also coincidentally, the first year that he was pushing into classes. And I'm very fortunate that I now get to continue that legacy here at Oak Park.
So what has this spoken word after school club that's now infused into our English curriculum, what has it morphed into? What is it that our students experience in their freshman and sophomore year?
I think we try our best to connect students with poetry in a way that destigmatizes it for them. I think traditionally the ways in which we've taught poetry in school has been like, this is this very esoteric coded thing that nobody is really able to figure out. And I think something that Peter has done with the curriculum and something that I try to do myself is to ground it in basic principles of personal narrative and figurative language. So our students are getting an education in literature, and they're also being offered the opportunity to, even if they're not incredibly excited to share these poems every week, they're given the opportunity to break out of their comfort zone, perform these poems, and have a very safe space for them to express whatever thoughts they have on their mind or whatever background noise they might be experiencing, which is really kind of the social emotional aspect of this job that I'm the most passionate about, because I think that we have so many students in this building who have a variety of different issues that they may be dealing with, who come into the building, and instead of them just having to leave it at the door and act like it's not going on for the sake of their teachers or their peers, they have this safe space where they're able to share and they're able to get out those feelings and emotions.
So that's amazing. Tell me a little bit about the commitment that Oak Park has made to this program. How is it benefiting students in real ways? What are you seeing?
We've had a lot of students. I mean, I'm one of them. I was one of them quite some time ago, who have turned their academics around in order to maintain like good standing in the club. We also have a lot of students, myself included, who probably would not be here today if it weren't for the club and if it weren't for the sense of belonging and safety that it offered for them. And I don't think there's anybody who can speak to that impact better than people who have been in the program or who are currently involved. So I want to turn it over to either Anabel or Ashley to kind of speak to what you guys have found has been the most beneficial for you as members of the club.
Yes.
Okay, so I started spoken word in freshman year, and it has absolutely changed my life. Peter Kahn, I can say, was a mentor to all of us. He has been so inspirational. He has introduced us to so many other poets. He has taught us that poetry is not just Shakespeare, it's rappers and music artists that we listen to every day. I can say that I absolutely love spoken word. It's become a community for me. I love the people in there. They're like my family. I come into the spoken word room before school, after school, and I bond with these teachers. I miss Mr. Kahn so much because he absolutely changed my life. He wrote me so many letters of recommendations. He inspired me to go for the career that I want to go to.
What's that career?
I want to go into journalism, and I was applying for this program in New York, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can do it. And he was just like, yes, you can. You're an amazing writer. You're an amazing poet. And I'm just like, maybe. And then he wrote a letter of recommendation, and I got in, and I got a full scholarship, and it was just absolutely amazing. I just was so excited to tell him, and he was so excited for me. He embarrassed me so much. He made me stand up in front of the whole spoken word group and announce it. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. But they all clapped, and they were all so excited. So it really is a community and a family where everybody just loves each other, and it's a safe space.
That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Ashley. What about you, Anabel?
Just like Ashley, I've been in spoken word since my freshman year, and now I am currently a senior, so I've been for 4 years of my high school life. And Mr. Khan I'm such a big fan of him. He's like my idol to me. He was like a father to me in high school. And I think, just like Ashley said, it's a family. We all we help each other out when we see each other sad. I'm kind of like the lifter over there. I smile every single day, so I try to bring up everybody. But I think spoken word also gives us more confidence in ourselves that we didn't have beforehand. So it kind of pushes our limits to see that we're more than we think of ourselves as. So I think I'm so grateful to that. And as a senior, I am going to miss the club a lot. Yeah. But I think it just taught me so many life lessons. And the people who I met, like Mr. Levin, Mr. Robinson, Noel, and Mr. Khan, I'm just so forever grateful for the club, and it's just taught me to love myself more. And
that is so wonderful.
Yeah, so.
That is so wonderful. Thank you both for sharing. Before we wrap up this episode, I believe you both have a spoken word poem that you have written that you'd like to share. So let's start with Ashley.
Okay, so this poem has no name, but let's just get into this. She presses play, and I'm there again. Our laughs burned into the pavement, so it never forgot that love once walked those streets too. Fast forward. My life played a trailer for me on my grandmother's cancer bed. Tubes chasing each other around her throat, and her life sunk into that mattress. We searched for a trace of a spirit, but never found it, and my cousin and I chased after innocence in her wheelchair. Deja vu. Fast forward. She spoke to me like an unwound cassette tape. So that's our little secret. That because I'm older, it was my fault. My innocence was what lured her in. I never managed to escape her memory. Fast forward, for once my story finds joy in the crevices of a different decade. I meet this girl in the streets of a town I don't yet recognize, the buildings painted with her smiles. She grasps my hand and a light flickers. Oops, too far.
Ashley, thank you so much for sharing that.
Mine is dedicated to someone who's important to me. If I moved away, would you miss me? Would the strings of your guitar strum to my name? Would the blood in your veins heat up blush? Your happy melody melts to a sad harmony. Are the tears on your pillow wet for me because my tears fall to your presence? A treasure that's not destined for me, yet the treasure is destined to me. Would the sun bleed our colors of love or just stay monotoned until black? I'm opposed to cliches, but I can't get rid of you. 12 hit the clock. I'm a runaway without the shoe or a first dance. I only wanted to dance with you. No kiss to break spells because I never got an inch close to you. Distance is a hidden dark secret of fairy tales. Only what-ifs echo my head. Marrying regret was a mistake unbearable. Fear was never mentioned in romance. Risk was always shown with a man. I'm stuck on a vintage stage waiting for the protagonist to sweep me away, when solely I'm just a princess rotting away. Yet it appears love is truly just Snow White's apple, an untouched love, a leftover love, a never given a chance love, poison love. But in reality, I am Bryan Adams. Everything I do for you. I'm Journey's open arms because my arms have been open for 2 years, and it was for you.
Ashley and Anabel, I want to thank you both personally for coming on to Hear It From a Huskie. You shared yourself, you shared your confidence, and it has really meant a lot. Mr. Levin, thank you so much for joining us and continuing the commitment to spoken word.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Hear It From a Huskie. Stay tuned for more from our Huskie faculty making an impact.